The millionaire CEO saw a single dad's disabled daughter being mocked, then learned the truth that changed his life forever. And before this story unfolds, stay with me until the very end, because what happened next didn't just change one little girl's world, it transformed a man who thought he already had everything. And if stories about kindness, redemption, and second chances move you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another journey that might just touch your heart. On a gray Tuesday morning in downtown Chicago, the glass tower of Morrison Global Enterprises reflected the clouds like a polished mirror. Inside, everything was precise, efficient, and immaculate, just the way its CEO, Daniel Morrison, preferred it. Daniel wasn't just wealthy, he was the kind of wealthy that appeared on magazine covers like Forbes and Fortune. His sharp suits, disciplined posture, and reputation for making ruthless business decisions had earned him a nickname in corporate circles, the closer. But no one called him Daniel anymore. Not warmly, at least. He had built his empire from nothing, or so he told himself. Raised by a factory worker and a waitress in a small Illinois town, Daniel had clawed his way up through scholarships, sleepless nights, and relentless ambition. Somewhere along the way, he had decided emotions were liabilities. And liabilities were to be eliminated. That same morning, across town, Michael Rivera was tying his daughter's shoes in their modest two-bedroom apartment. "Too tight?" he asked gently. 8-year-old Sofia Rivera looked down at her small pink sneakers and nodded. Sofia had cerebral palsy. Her right leg was weaker than her left, and she walked with the help of a lightweight brace and a small forearm crutch decorated with stickers of butterflies and stars. Michael adjusted the strap carefully. "There. Perfect." Sofia grinned. Her smile was the kind that could break through the heaviest storm. Michael had once been a construction foreman. But after Sofia's diagnosis and his wife Alina's sudden passing from a heart condition 3 years earlier, everything changed. He'd quit his higher-paying job because the hours were too long. Now he worked maintenance at Morrison Global's headquarters, steady hours, modest pay, health insurance that covered part of Sofia's therapy. It wasn't the life he'd imagined, but it was the life he chose. That afternoon, Daniel Morrison stepped out of his car outside a luxury hotel where he was scheduled to give a keynote speech at a charity luncheon. The event was about Inclusive Futures, a public relations initiative his board insisted would improve the company's image. As he walked toward the entrance, adjusting his cufflinks, he heard laughter. Not joyful laughter, cruel laughter. Across the plaza, near the fountain, Sofia stood clutching her crutch. A group of well-dressed private school children, likely the sons and daughters of the city's elite, circled her. One boy mimicked her walk, dragging his leg dramatically. "Look at me, I'm a robot," he jeered. Another girl giggled. "Why does she walk like that? Is she broken?" Sofia's face turned red. She tried to move away, but her steps were slower than their taunts. Michael was inside the hotel lobby picking up a delivery for the maintenance team. He had told Sofia to wait just outside for a moment. Daniel stopped mid-step. At first, he felt irritation. This was messy, public, inconvenient. But then Sofia stumbled. Her crutch slipped against the wet stone near the fountain, and she fell hard onto her hands. The laughter grew louder. Something shifted in Daniel's chest. A memory, buried deep, clawed its way up. A younger Daniel. Torn sneakers. A stutter he couldn't control in middle school. The way classmates once imitated him during a class presentation. The way he had swallowed humiliation and promised himself he would one day stand above everyone. Without fully understanding why, Daniel walked toward the children. "That's enough," he said sharply. His voice carried authority. The children froze. "Do your parents know this is how you behave?" he asked. One boy recognized him. "That's Daniel Morrison." The group scattered almost instantly, fear replacing arrogance. Daniel knelt slightly, keeping a careful distance. "Are you hurt?" Sofia looked up at him, eyes glossy but defiant. "I'm okay," she whispered, though her scraped palm told another story. At that moment, Michael burst through the hotel doors. "Sofia," he rushed to her side, his face pale. He shot Daniel a guarded look, not recognizing him immediately without the context of the office. "I'm sorry," Daniel said quietly. The words felt foreign in his mouth. They shouldn't have done that. Michael's expression softened slightly as he helped Sofia sit upright. "Kids can be cruel." Daniel noticed the maintenance uniform. The name tag, Michael R. A faint flicker of recognition. "You work at Morrison Global?" Daniel asked. Michael hesitated. "Yes, sir. Maintenance." Daniel nodded slowly. Sofia looked up at her father. Daddy, I'm okay. I didn't cry. Michael smiled gently. I know, Princessa, you're the bravest girl I know. Daniel felt something tighten in his throat. Later that evening, back in his penthouse overlooking Lake Michigan, Daniel couldn't shake the image of Sofia on the ground. He had sat through his luncheon speech, delivered polished lines about corporate responsibility, and accepted applause. But it felt hollow. He opened his laptop and typed in the employee database, Rivera, Michael. The file showed consistent attendance. No disciplinary actions, performance reviews marked, reliable, and hardworking. There was also a note about flexible scheduling requests due to dependent medical needs. Daniel clicked further. Medical reimbursement claims, physical therapy sessions, mobility equipment. He leaned back in his chair. The next day, Daniel did something he hadn't done in years. He walked through the maintenance corridors of his own building. Employees stared as he passed. He found Michael repairing a flickering light in a conference room. Michael nearly dropped his tools. Mr. Morrison, Daniel is fine, he replied, surprising even himself. They stood in awkward silence for a moment. I wanted to ask about your daughter, Daniel said. Michael's posture stiffened protectively. She's fine. I saw what happened. A pause. She has cerebral palsy, Michael said quietly. She works twice as hard as any kid I've ever known just to take a few steps. And some people still think that gives them the right to laugh. Daniel swallowed. Does she go to public school? He asked. Yes. The therapy programs are decent, but, Michael hesitated. Pride battled with honesty. There's a private adaptive academy across town. Better resources, smaller classes, but tuition is, he shook his head. It's not possible. Daniel looked down at the floor. For years, he had funded scholarships, tax-deductible donations that made headlines. But he had never met the children. Would you accept help? Daniel asked. Michael's jaw tightened. I don't want charity. It wouldn't be charity, Daniel said carefully. It would be an investment. In what? In potential. Michael studied him, searching for condescension. He found none. Weeks passed. Sofia was accepted into the Adaptive Academy under a newly established Morrison Global Inclusion Grant, a program Daniel insisted remain anonymous at first. The school changed everything. Sofia had access to specialized physical therapy, supportive teachers, and classmates who understood her challenges instead of mocking them. Her confidence blossomed. One afternoon, months later, Daniel received an invitation. A handwritten note in uneven cursive. Dear Mr. Daniel, we are having a talent day at my school. I am going to dance. You helped me, so I want you to see. Love, Sofia. Dance. He almost didn't go. His calendar was packed with investor meetings. But something told him to rearrange it. In the small auditorium, Daniel sat in the back row, unnoticed. Sofia appeared on stage with a group of children using wheelchairs, walkers, and braces. The music began, soft at first, then swelling. The choreography wasn't perfect. It was powerful. Sofia moved with determination, her brace visible, her smile radiant. Each step looked like a victory. The audience rose in a standing ovation. Daniel realized his face was wet. After the performance, Sofia spotted him. You came, she exclaimed. I wouldn't have missed it, he said, his voice unsteady. Michael approached, extending his hand. You didn't just change her school, he said quietly. You changed how she sees herself. Daniel shook his hand firmly. No, he replied, she changed me. In the months that followed, Morrison Global launched a comprehensive accessibility initiative, not for publicity, but for purpose. They renovated buildings, expanded healthcare coverage for employees with disabled dependents, and partnered with local organizations to create mentorship programs. Daniel began spending time outside boardrooms, visiting schools, meeting families, listening. The man once known as the closer became known for something else entirely. Compassion. Years later, at a company anniversary gala, Daniel invited a special guest to speak. Now a confident teenager with a sleek forearm crutch and unshakable poise, Sofia stepped onto the stage. When I was little, she began, some kids laughed at how I walked. But someone stood up for me. And that made me believe I could stand tall, too. She looked at Daniel. And sometimes heroes wear suits. The room erupted in applause. Daniel understood something then that no balance sheet had ever taught him. True wealth isn't measured in billions, but in the lives you lift when no one is watching. So if this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that one moment of courage can ripple across years, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Because the world needs more stories, and more people, who choose kindness when it's easier to walk away. And remember, you never know when standing up for someone else might be the very thing that helps you finally stand for something yourself.